Hello and welcome to WION 360, Dateline Kashmir. This is Rohit Gandhi and we are coming live out of Srinagar. Our correspondents from around the world have been covering stories to try and describe what's going on here in Kashmir and across the world, how people are reacting to this story. There has been tremendous turmoil here in the last 3 months. It's the 92nd day today. There's another child who lost his life to an injury. We take a look at what has happened here over the last many decades. Let's take a look at the timeline, starting all the way back in 1989.
Tension arises when a Muslim uprising breaks out against Indian rule in Kashmir Valley, inflaming tensions with Pakistan. New Delhi imposes Armed Forces Special Powers Act in Kashmir. Then in May 1999, infiltrators from Pakistan raid Indian Kashmir's Kargil sector, sparking a 6-week conflict leading to the death of hundreds of combatants on both sides. The battle ends under US pressure. Renewed tensions as new series of attacks in 2001 and 2002 lead to a new mobilization of Indian and Pakistani troops at the line of control. In November 2003, Pakistan declares a unilateral ceasefire along the line of control, leading to an inconclusive peace process the following year. On September 18, 2016, the deadly assault on an army base in Kashmir near the border kills 20 soldiers in what is the worst rebel attack in the region for 14 years. On September 27th, India pulls out of a key regional summit planned for Pakistan in November after accusing Pakistan-based militants of the Jaish-e-Mohammed group of launching the attack. On Thursday, September 29th, Indian commandos carry out a series of surgical strikes on terrorist camps in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir.
Literally close to 100,000 people have lost their lives, whether they're security personnel, whether they're civilians or even terrorists. It's gone on for many decades. But there have been some main actors who have helped carry out this action here. They've been supported by terror groups from around the world. These were suicide foreign terrorists that have come in. A lot of them have been local terrorists who have gone across the border into Pakistan and have been trained, and many of them function out of Pakistan. And they have carried out attacks, they have recruited people from here and have gone back. Now, one thing which we found out, there was tremendous synergies that were taking place between different terror groups from around the world. Some of them, like the Lashkar-e-Toiba or the Hizbul Mujahideen, have been seen in action globally, whether it was in the Middle East or even the US. Let's take a look at who are the main players that have played a role in bringing about terrorism to the level that we see here.
Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Harkatul Mujahideen and Hizbul Mujahideen are the 4 most active terror groups in the Kashmir Valley. Besides these, a number of minor groups such as Tehreek-ul Mujahideen, Al-Badr, Al-Barq and Al-Jihad are also believed to be involved in terror activities. Lashkar-e-Toiba, which translates to the Army of the Pure, is a Pakistan-based militant group created by Hafiz Muhammad Saeed in the early 1990s. Saeed, who is believed to be an extension of the Pakistani intelligence agency, was tasked to convert the Kashmir disturbance into a pro-Pakistan movement. Around 300 Lashkars are active in the Valley, Poonch, Rajouri and Doda areas as per current estimates. In the year 2000, Masood Azhar founded the Jaish-e-Mohammed after he was released by the Vajpayee government in exchange for the passengers and crew of the hijacked Indian Airlines plane in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Subsequently, they claimed responsibility for a suicide attack on the Legislative Assembly in Srinagar in the year 2001, in which 38 people were killed, followed by a string of other attacks, including the recent attack in Uri. The Harkatul Mujahideen was earlier known as Harkatul Ansar, but changed its name after the US declared it as a terrorist group in 1997. Harkatul Mujahideen's members are mostly Afghans and were trained to operate weapons. Out of an estimated total of 5,000 volunteers, around 350 of them are fighting in Kashmir. The Hizbul Mujahideen, like other organizations, operates exclusively in Kashmir. Founded in 1989, its popularity increased once the pro-independence group fell out of Pakistan's favor. Though the Hizbul Mujahideen claims to have its members from Kashmir, Indian security establishment claims to have recorded a sizable population of Afghan and Pakistani nationals too. There are around 800 Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists active in Kashmir. While there are differences among these groups regarding their political ideologies, the only common string binding all these groups is their resolve to use violence as a tool to expand their influence. Bureau Report, WION.
So, how has this war really moved? What has happened here? And where do we go from here? To explain all of that, let's take a look at how the violence has unfolded here.
Angry protests, police crackdowns, terrorist attacks. For decades, Kashmir has witnessed agitations that have often turned ugly, coupled with militant separatism. North Kashmir was the traditional base of militants in the valley, largely owing to the feeder route of infiltration from Pakistan. That, however, began to change starting in 2010. Widespread protests broke out in South Kashmir following the fake encounter in Marshall in April 2010. 6 army personnel were eventually found guilty and court-martialed. Later, all the 6 were given life imprisonment. The crackdown during the protests, however, resulted in disenchanted young men turning to militancy. That has now come to haunt the security forces in the region. Since November 2015, 4 key districts in South Kashmir have been on the boil. The violence following the killing of Lashkar-e-Taiba commander Abu Qasim and then intensified after security forces took out Hizbul Mujahideen commander Burhan Wani in July this year.
Burhan Wani, a young individual, he has been able to recruit any number of militants, young boys into militancy. The terrain, the availability of facilities for infiltration and the military's success in the LOC sector are the reasons why they are shifting from the north to the south.
Local police records show that out of the 90 youths who joined militant groups last year, nearly 80% of them were from various districts of South Kashmir. Within this north-to-south shift lies the story of how external militants capitalize on the resentments of the local population, leading to the revival of militancy in the valley. Bureau Report, WION.
It's the 92nd day of this lockdown. What we've seen here is a lot of children, a lot of adults throwing stones across Kashmir. Our correspondents have been attacked. Even as I drove in and I was driving from one location to the other, we saw people throw stones from inside their homes at some security personnel. A lot of people have gotten injured in the process. It's been a challenge. Let's take a look back in the last 92 days. Where has this conflict come from and how it's unfolded? Let's take a short break now, and when we return, let's take a look at that.